I'm really glad how quickly the fireplace gets this place warmed up.
That was a good job, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the tape's on. Yeah, it floats well, but it just doesn't float good enough.
And this is like 4 days worth of collecting?
Mm-hmm.
After being gone for a week for our Hawaii trip, it's been very, very busy trying to get caught up and managing the chaotic weather.
Man, this is absolute crap. I'm so tired of this.
Do you remember the time that where you forgot your pocket knife at the luggage at the TSA and they had to take your pocket knives away?
I've only had them take my knife one time. Right through TSA without any problems.
Really?
Every time except for this time. It was the first time I've not made it through TSA with my pocket knife.
Maybe you need a haircut so they didn't think you were suspicious last time. Maybe you're being really suspicious now that you got long hair. You can just tell them I grow out my hair in the wintertime. That's all I do.
What keeps me warm.
Did you really get away with it? What was it, to Alaska?
Every time we've gone to Alaska, every time.
You've been able to carry your pocket knife?
I went to Florida with my pocket knife. I went to... Yeah, this is the first time.
The first time, huh?
Yeah. I think the very first time that I flew somewhere, I didn't pack it because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I got to make sure and follow all the rules, you know?
Yeah.
And then every other time since then, I just forgot and left it in my pocket.
You typically are the guy that you're going to get caught.
Oh, yeah.
Every time.
I always follow the rules.
You do follow the rules.
As soon as I decide to chance it, then I don't get away with it.
No.
So I don't bother chancing it anymore.
That's why you're so good for me, because you teach me how to follow the rules.
Well, you don't learn very well, though.
You know what I don't do that I used to do more when I was younger is drive with an expired tag. You know, the car registrations and stuff like that. I don't mess around with that anymore. I got a fat ticket once and I learned it the hard way. I always learn things the hard way anyway, but it's like...
Well, that one's real easy for you because you don't worry about it anymore. I manage it.
That's true. I'm telling you, you're the responsible one. You keep us alive. Speaking of keeping us alive, are we almost ready to get this fire going?
Give that a minute, see if it takes.
I did it without a mask this time. It's so little.
I know this bucket is skinnier than the mud bucket, so it's harder.
I'm on my second coat of mud. I am done with the ceiling. And that's the one I really just want to get over with so I don't have to be up so high and things, even though I'm going to prime and paint it as well. I'm probably going to have to do a third coat on the ceiling on a couple of joints because I could just tell that there is, yeah, the tape's on, yeah, it floats well, but it just doesn't float good enough to where it's a completely flat wall. So I really want to make sure that when we put the primer and paint on, that I'm not gonna see that joint. So I'm gonna actually do a third coat on certain joints. My arms are kind of sore from yesterday, so I kind of tired of holding the pan. You know, the pan gets heavy after a while. One of the things too that kind of held me back today is we had the fire stoked up on the fireplace, but we didn't leave it burning really well at the end of the night. So when the fire burned out, it burned out. So certain spots on the ceiling didn't dry, so I wasn't able to go in and sand to measure my gaps or anything like that. So now we just kind of we might want to stoke it up a little bit more for the overnight so the mud actually has time to dry. However, I was able to still get quite a bit done. There's still plenty to do. There's no shortage of that. We got to get the battery room done. I'm still not quite burned out from mudding. So I'm kind of wanting to see all of this through. The room is so small and there's no ladders that need it. I just could stand there and mud and that would be so much easier. We went to Home Depot today and we were just looking at prime and paint, and I couldn't believe how much paint is. Like we're clearly going to get the exterior higher quality, but it was $300+ for 5 gallons. Usually be maybe the most 180 or something like that. So the prices have literally doubled, and it's going to take quite a bit of paint to get this done, and I didn't realize how expensive it was going to be. I'm really glad that I'm doing the mud and taping because there's no way we could have afforded a contractor. But holy cow, I couldn't believe the prices. The prices have literally doubled just on prime and paint. That just shocked me. Just had to share I came out of Home Depot almost crying. I couldn't believe how much paint was. It's gonna be really nice on Saturday.
I think.
I might just not do any sheetrock and do some seeds. Hey, spring is here. Oh, and we gotta get our eggs in the incubator, and that's exciting. So we gotta go get all of our eggs today, tomorrow, and then we're gonna get some from the neighbors, and then we're gonna put it all together. I'm so excited though. We don't have to buy chicks. That's such an expense.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can just have our own chickens.
We can have 50
chickens, 56 if we wanted to. That's pretty cool. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
So these first 10 eggs are from our neighbor's collection.
Yep.
So we'll make sure that they get a few chicks.
So we marked them with her initial.
We're gonna put the rest of the eggs that we've collected from our chickens. 7 a tray or so.
Looks like about 7 in a tray, 8 trays. So that's right at what they say, 56. So we put the date on the shell that we collected them, and then we put a little X on the pointy side because they're supposed to go in pointy side down, just to make it easier. And this is 4 days worth of collecting.
Mm-hmm.
And we just kept the cleanest ones. I think we'll have some extras, so I wanted to put the most recent ones in first. We figure that all of ours are crossed with the buff Orpington rooster. Should give us some really cool varieties. Some good looking hens, hopefully. Okay, last one. What one do you want?
This one.
That one?
Yeah. I don't think we have enough dark ones in there.
56 eggs.
That's beautiful.
And that'll automatically rotate like that and maintain the temperature and the humidity.
Sweet.
So 19 days, we got to take the eggs out of the tray. And there's a cardboard kind of mat that goes in underneath. And then all the eggs go on top of that to hatch. Cool. Pretty exciting.
That's pretty cool. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
So, and getting that set up, that's going to be really fun because that feels like spring. We still need to get this painted on before we do anything.
Well, before we get crazy about outside work, we gotta let 3 feet of snow melt.
Oh, so much snow. And today, what is it, like another foot? I just don't even want to think about plowing.
So far, it's 5.5 inches.
Oh. And it's still going.
And it's still coming. And it's still coming all night tonight. So... Man, this is absolute crap. I'm so tired of this. It's still coming down.
By the next morning, it was nearly a foot of snow, so I had to take the time to remove the loader from the front of the tractor and try to get the snowblower connected and making sure that it was going to work so that I could clear these roads with the snowblower this time. There was just too much to try to push it off with the blade.
This is crap.
I think it's safe to say that we're all starting to feel the burnout from winter. I know I'm sure getting tired of having to deal with the snow piling up on the roads, and I'm tired of having to go out and snow blow and have the snowblower break down on me. And the fact is that we didn't prepare these roads for this winter for a snowblower, which means along the shoulder, every now and again, there's still a big rock here and there that gets caught up. And in this case, a really big rock that caught up in the auger and broke a shear bolt once again. This time I was all out of shear bolts in my little toolbox, so I had to take it up to the shop to get another shear bolt and get that installed. The new shear bolt installed and a fresh supply back into the toolbox. I started after it again with the snowblower, and it didn't take too long before I realized that something else more drastic had broken when that shear bolt broke. And it's right here that it quits again, and I get in there to notice that the chain has come off of the drive auger, and under further inspection I found that the shaft that leads out of the front gearbox over to the side pillow block with the drive sprocket on there has broken right next to the drive sprocket. So this time it's down for good, and I think that we're fine with that because we better not have much snow left this season. So switching out back to the loader one more time to go back to the box scraper one more time, hopefully we'll get done with this storm and be done with the snow for good. I'll be able to spend more time on that snowblower this summer in between projects and such. That'll give me a chance to go through it really, really well with a fine-tooth comb and make sure that everything's ready to go without any interruptions for next year. Next year, I'll also take the time to kind of observe the road and inspect it as it gets into fall, making sure there's no big rocks or giant dirt clumps or any kind of sticks and branches laying along the shoulder of the road. They're going to cause me problems like it did this year. If I take a minute and prepare the road, making sure that it'll be really, really usable for a snowblower, then I should help prevent a lot of the breakdowns that I had this year. Next year, I'm going to plan on starting out the season with the snowblower rather than with the snowplow. That should help prevent the shoulders from building up initially and also help keep a good manageable cut that will be easy to follow for the rest of the year.
The snow finally quit. Got a little patch of blue sky, so I'm going to push this off. I cleared it yesterday, but it's like 4 to 6 inches depending on where, so I'm just gonna quickly push off our driveway. It's supposed to be like 5 degrees tonight, so everything will freeze Tomorrow's supposed to hit mid-30s, and then it's 40s and 50s after that. More of this I can get off the road, the less will sit there and melt and make it soggy. So.
Luckily enough, the main road gets enough traffic between the few of us that live up here that the snow pretty well packs down, and we're pretty much done having to push the main road. So it's just a matter of trying to clear up the worst spots on our own roads and driveways to make sure that we have good, easy access to everywhere on our place. The next day or two, things started melting off pretty rapidly, and it was surprising to see just how quick everything began to transform from snow-capped running river roads to clear, dry aggregate roads. There's only 2.5 days between these two clips. The higher points of the dirt on the road is starting to dry out and crust up pretty good, which is really reassuring as our patience is waning pretty hard.
She's a screamer, huh? Mm-hmm. Is that a girl? Yeah. She's big. Hey. Right. Yeah. 25 pounds, you think? Pretty close. He's tall. Big long legs. He doesn't have any horns. Barely has these little horn nubs. Yeah, they're doing good. Let's see how they are side by side. He's about the same frame size as her. So definitely have the two white ones still in milk. Yeah. Which means there's no way they're pregnant. Which means you got to get them babies off. You got to separate those babies out of them so that they can cycle. What do you think? That'll work. Round them up, get them out of there.
Yeah. Oh, look at his. There you go. You are an old one.
Rooster, you looking better. We're gonna need to harvest the black rooster and probably the blue-headed duck. Man, I can't believe how much everything is melting. It's like 50 degrees today. From the animal corral, it's just rivers of mud running. Mostly settling through here, and then it's draining off over the hill. But our snow load has just shrunk drastically. Now the snowbank is only up to like mid-thigh. It's melting off, but everything seems to be pretty controlled, and it's all flowing where we need it to get off and get to the creek, find its easiest path there. I had my beanie on this morning. I had to take it off because it was too dang hot. Right now in the shop, it's about 55 degrees. And I think our temperature outside is registering around 48, 49 degrees. We've been around doing some farm stuff this morning. Now we're gonna do a little bit of sanding in here. Ola's got the day off work tomorrow and the next day, so she's gonna be anxious to get some mud on the walls. We're gonna do what we can today for a few hours to get it prepared for her and just enjoy the sunny, warm weather.
We started out with the little leaf blower just trying to blow some of the dust and the debris outside of the shop that had accumulated. A little bit from sanding, a little bit from dust and mud. that had just kind of blown in over the time. That way we could move around with the scaffolds without being hung up on little rocks or pebbles and dust and things like that on the floor. So Everest started sanding while I did some cleaning, and I decided it was time to start getting some of the construction tools reorganized and put back away. Things that I wasn't going to be using very heavily anymore, like the framing guns and the construction saws and things like that. Most of that stuff is done, with the exception of some of the finish work. And I can get out what I need then as I need it, rather than having it piled up, getting sanding dust from the drywall mud all over it and making it all messy. We get up here and get started working with the door open like that, and you got all the sunlight and the warm weather and the warm conditions outside. It sure makes you get into that spring cleaning kind of mode, and you want to clean up, organize, and have everything ready to go so that you can really get productive and get a lot of work done. I can't tell you how anxious we're all looking forward to spring this year, more than we ever thought we would. It seems like it's been a really long winter, and when we look back at it, it's actually been going on 6 months of solid snow that's been on the ground the whole time. Come on, sunny weather.